let's make the slide block. Go to new part, standard.ipt. I need to find the drawing. Here it is. We're going to make that part. How do we want to make this part? There's lots of different ways you could do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the T, extrude it out, then I'll make these chamfers on the corners, and then I'll drill the hole. So let's do it. We want to start with a 2D sketch. Really what you should start to do is by saving it as, but I've already made these parts, so I don't need to do that. So I'm going to start drawing the T. I'm going to use the line tool. So I'm going to go up, out, up, out, over here, over here. Notice if I hover over here, it'll kind of figure out that I want that to be directly above this point. So I'll click there. Okay, so we're getting there, right? Next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this is perfectly centered on the origin, and that's going to help us later when we make the assembly. So what I want to do is make another vertical line. So I'm going to pick line, and it'll snap to that midpoint, and it'll snap to the midpoint there. And then I'm going to make that a construction line, so I hit escape, select that line, make it a construction line, and I'm going to make this line. I'm going to click the line and then the origin, and I'm going to make it 0 away from the origin. There's other ways you could do that too, but that's just one way. Now I'm going to set my distances, so it's 0.45 wide at the bottom, 0.45. It's 0.8125 inches tall. It is 0.375 inches. Whoops, not what I wanted. So I'll hit escape, click on that, and then delete. This distance here is 0.375. And I think that's it. The only other thing we got to make sure is that these two lines are at the same height. So we'll go from here to here, 0.375, and we probably need the width at the top here. Does it give us that? 0.75. Perfect. So 0.75 there. Still doesn't look quite right, does it? I think what happened was this line didn't actually, I must have maybe hit the origin instead. Maybe I have to make sure that this point is in the middle. So maybe it didn't snap to the middle. So what I have to do is, there's a good constraint here called coincident. I'll click that one, and I want this point to be coincident with the midpoint. There we have that. The next thing we want to do is, I'm just going to put this right on the origin, so I'm going to use coincident again, click that point, and pin it to the origin. And it's saying it's going to over constrain there. So maybe I'll try dimension. Sometimes you just try other things, and we'll make that 0. Okay, so now we're fully constrained. Say finish sketch. So now we've got our sketch there. Next thing we're going to do is extrude it 1.75 inches out. Let's go to extrude 1.75 inches. Now we got to add these chamfers. The chamfers are 1/8 of an inch at 45 degrees. Click on the chamfer tool, just a handy chamfer tool there. Boom, 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 boom. And it's already set at 1/8 of an inch. And it's already by default 45 degrees. So just click on the green check there. Next thing we're going to do is add the hole. We're getting there. We're almost done. So we are going to make a point. You always make a point when you make a hole. Just makes a point, I guess, when you make a hole. So what we're going to do is make a point. So what I did, and I didn't even say this, but I just made a new 2D sketch on the top surface. And now what we want to do is add a point. So you say point, just put it in any random spot, and now you can set your dimensions. So it's 0.875 inches from one side. And maybe I made it 875 by accident, so 0.875. And it is 0.375 inches from the other side. So from there to there, 0.375. And that ought to do it. It's fully constrained, so you can say finish. Now we're going to use the hole command, so click on hole. Since there's only one point in the sketch, it automatically picked that point. This one happens to be a I'm just going to show you how you would make the slide block threaded. How would you make that threaded hole? You would go down here to a tapped hole, and then you're going to make it 10-24. So I'm going to go over here to number 10, 10-24. And this one is through the whole thing, so it's not any certain depth. I think it's just through the whole thing. And then, so you could say full depth, and then you're going to say OK. And then your part is finished. Make sure you save it. That was a lot of work.